Have you ever noticed that, no matter how much time passes, you keep attracting the same kind of relationship, the same absence disguised as attention, the same suffocating silence after the promise of care, the same wound that never truly heals? Different people, different situations, but deep down, it's the same pain, with a new name. And then you start to wonder if the problem is you. If there's something in you that's unworthy of love, if you're doomed to repeat the same story, just with different settings and different actors. But what if this repetition is only a reflection of something deeper, a hidden pattern, an emotional echo of everything you were taught to believe was love, long before you even knew what love really was? Because the truth is, no one taught you how to recognize healthy love. They only showed you what you had to do, not to be abandoned. And that's what you keep doing, trying to earn someone who never truly saw you. This video isn't just another piece of content. It's a mirror. It's a dive inward. It's the beginning of the end of a silent cycle that's been consuming you. But for that to happen, you need to be here fully. So if this message resonates with something inside you, if some part of you felt exposed and yet seen, subscribe to the channel and like this video now. Not just to support the channel, but to make sure the next message finds you too. Because maybe this is the beginning of your liberation. What you call a relationship today, maybe it was never really about love, but about survival. Because your first experience with love wasn't lightness, it was tension. It was that affection that came laced with demands. That presence that brought fear instead of protection. That attention that only showed up when you got everything right or everything wrong. And so you learned that love hurts. That closeness is dangerous. That being seen comes at a high price. Without realizing it, you grew up trying to fix that love from the past, in the bodies of the present, repeating, repeating, repeating. Not out of masochism, but out of hope. The unconscious hope that if someone finally loves you the right way, then everything that once hurt will be made right. But no one can heal a wound that doesn't belong to them, because you're not really searching for them. You're searching for what was missing. And every time you try to fill that emptiness with the wrong person, you only deepen the void. You're not repeating the person, you're repeating the absence. You're repeating the wound. But there's something no one ever told you. This cycle only exists as long as you believe you deserve to go through it. Some people love differently. They love deeply. They love with their soul wide open. They are sensitive. Intense, with an emotional radar that's almost too sharp. They pick up on what no one says. They feel what no one shows. And they suffer over what others simply ignore. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you love before being loved. Give before being noticed. Surrender before it's safe. Not because you're weak, but because you learned that love must be earned. It must be chased. It must be proven. And so, you confuse connection with craving, intensity with intimacy, affection with attachment. You build bonds with fantasies, not with facts. You fall for who someone could be and get hurt by who they truly are. You don't want control, but you end up with those who try to control you. You just want to be seen, but only find those who keep you hidden. And when you don't even receive the bare minimum, you blame yourself for expecting too much. But the truth is simple and brutal. You're not asking for too much. You're just knocking on the wrong door. You're not stuck on a person. You're stuck on an emotion. Guilt for not being enough, for hoping too much, for believing that this time it would be different. Fear of being abandoned, of being rejected, of confirming that old wound, that no one stays, that in the end, you always end up alone, and a silent, lingering feeling that there's something wrong with you, so you try to compensate. You push yourself to be perfect, to not be a burden, to never mess up, to become everything the other person wants, even if it destroys you in the process. You settle for crumbs and call it love. You accept half presence, unstable affection, beautiful words that never turn into action, and you stay. Because you believe this is better than nothing, but this isn't love. It's emotional conditioning. It's the wounded child inside you saying, if I'm good enough, maybe, just maybe, someone will stay this time. But no one stays where you yourself haven't truly shown up, because every time you abandon yourself just to be accepted, you reinforce a cruel lie, that you're not worthy of being loved exactly as you are. Now, take a deep breath, silence the world for a few moments, and prepare to face something you may have been avoiding for years. Grab a pen and paper. Yes, handwritten. Nothing digital. You're going to write with your soul, not just your fingers. Write down the names of the 3 people who hurt you the most in relationships, the ones who left invisible marks that you still feel to this day. It doesn't matter how long it's been, whether you've moved on or if the pain still lingers like it happened yesterday. Now, for each of those people, write down 3 words that describe how you felt when you were around them. Just 3. But let them hurt. Let them be raw. Let them rise from the deepest place in your emotional memory. Fear, insecurity, invisibility, anxiety, neglect, submission. Choose the ones that still burn. Once you're done, stop. Read what you wrote slowly, in silence, as if listening to a wounded child telling their story. Now look at those words. Really look and ask yourself, what do these emotions reveal about me? Not about them. They were just the trigger, the echo, the repetition. But these emotions, they are mirrors. They reflect what you're still searching for. Even if unconsciously you weren't searching for love, you were trying to prove that you were worthy of it. You wanted someone to give you what you've denied yourself all along: care, attention, presence. And that's why it hurt. It wasn't about them. It was about everything you didn't know you needed, till the emptiness was reflected back at you. Once again, this exercise isn't light, but it is necessary, because the cycle only breaks when you finally stop running from the mirror. Every time you enter a relationship where you have to shrink who you are just to fit into someone else's expectations, a piece of you dies in silence, and maybe no one sees it. No one notices, except you. When it's already too late, you lose yourself slowly, almost without realizing it. You abandon your values just to keep someone close. You swallow your feelings, choke back your thoughts. You shape yourself, hide yourself, unmake yourself, all to avoid being left. But ironically, in the process of trying to be loved, you abandon yourself first. And every time you accept less than you deserve, you reinforce a quiet, cruel lie that you'll only be loved if you stop being who you are. You begin to adapt to the emotional limits of the other person, as if love were a test of endurance instead of a space for expansion. And the worst part? Over time, you begin to forget who you were before you've bent so much. You lose the spark in your eyes, the spontaneity in your laughter, the connection to your own truth. You start living for the other person, waiting for a return that never comes. Because those who can't see themselves can't be seen. And those who don't choose themselves end up being chosen by those who see no value. That's the cost of repeating the same love. It's not just another heartbreak. It's the erosion of your essence. And as long as you keep trading your truth for approval, your soul will keep screaming from within, I wasn't born to hide. What you feel isn't always love. Sometimes it's just withdrawal. It's not the other person you truly crave. It's the temporary relief their presence gives you. Oh, the distraction they offer from your own emptiness. You got used to the cycle. Intensity, silence, affection. And now, you mistake this emotional roller coaster for depth. But that's not love. It's addiction. It's attachment to what drains you the most, but gives you tiny crumbs of meaning. You keep hoping they'll finally see you, that they'll recognize your effort, acknowledge everything you gave, stay, but they won't. Because the truth is, you're not attached to the person. You're attached to the hope. The hope that if you're more patient, more understanding, stronger, more loving, then one day they'll realize it. But that one day never comes, because the only person who still hasn't seen you is you. You don't need another empty promise. You need to see yourself. Hold yourself. Rescue yourself. Because as long as you keep searching in someone else for what's missing inside, you'll stay trapped in this cycle of emotional dependence that drains, deceives, and destroys. And the worst part, you'll keep calling it love, when in truth, it's just the fear of being alone, dressed as longing. It's time to do what was never done. To say what you swallowed. To express what's been stuck between your heart and your throat for far too long. This exercise isn't about them. It's about you. About everything you've been holding in, hidden between the lines of a story that wounded you and was never truly closed. Grab a pen and paper. Yes, again, and write a letter. But not just any letter. Write to that person, you know who. The one who left the deepest scar. The one you still carry in silence. The one who keeps showing up in your thoughts, even though their body is long gone. Say everything. No filters. No fear of sounding weak, dramatic, or foolish. Say what hurt, what broke you, what you hoped for, what you deserved and never received. Speak of the longing, if it's still there. Of the anger, if it still pulses. Of the frustration of having given everything and received so little in return. Speak as someone letting go of a burden, as someone laying down their weapons, as someone who no longer needs to wear the shield of indifference. When you're done, read the letter out loud. Yes, out loud. Hear your own pain. Give it shape. Allow yourself to feel, and then tear it apart. Tear it like you're tearing a cycle. Like you refuse to keep carrying what no longer belongs to you. You don't need to send it, because this was never about them. It was about you, about freeing your voice, about closing the chapter that remained unfinished, about making peace with the person you were, and creating space for who you're becoming. Forgiveness isn't for them. It's so you can walk freely again, so you can finally leave. Emotionally, a place that no longer holds you. Relationships are mirrors. They reflect not only who we are, but also who we've yet to dare become. And this pattern you keep living. It's not a prison, it's an invitation, calling for you to stop running from yourself. To stop hiding behind masks, behind excuses, behind justifications. You don't need to be fixed, or repaired, or saved. You only need to remember. Remember who you were before you were told you weren't enough. Before you believed you had to change to be loved. Before you accepted crumbs as if they were feasts. Remember the strength that pulses within, the light that never went out, the essence that was never lost, only buried. The choice is right in front of you, to continue the cycle or to rewrite the story. But know this, rewriting is not easy. It's not a gentle step, it's a jolt, a brutal awakening, a confrontation with your own shadows. It's claiming that the love you deserve begins with you, by looking in the mirror and saying with your whole soul, I choose myself. And when you choose yourself, the entire universe begins to move in your favor, because the energy you radiate is the energy that returns. And then it's a cycle. Finally breaks. You deserve a love that never makes you beg for presents. A love that doesn't break you down just to rebuild you in smaller pieces. A love that doesn't make you forget who you are, but amplifies your truest light. That love begins within you. In the daily choice to put yourself first, in the courage to be whole, with all your wounds, imperfections, and truths. Because loving yourself isn't selfish. It's survival, It's revolution. It's the deepest act of resistance. When you choose yourself, when you love yourself, the world has no choice but to reflect it back. And then, the cycle that held you captive, the one that seemed endless, finally breaks, not by chance, but because you decided to break it. And that decision is your first act of freedom. If something real stirred within you here, if this message moved you, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave your comment. Share your story, your struggle, your victory. Because only together, breaking patterns, will we build a love truly worth having. Thank you for being here. And until the next dive,